Hi, this is Sue Skavlem, and today I'm going to talk about Whitespace. What does Whitespace even mean? According to Merriam-Webster, it was first coined in 1946, and it's a design term that means the space around image or text in either a design or on a page. So it could be anything from a book to a newspaper to a web page. Now, the reason why this is interesting is it doesn't have to be white. It's just part of the way it got termed, probably because most pages that you see have a white or a cream background. I like to think of it as a buffer or a negative space or a margin. If you think of it like that, you can imagine what it would look like if you could apply it to different areas of your life. For yourself, for your message, and for your customers. For yourself, it is interesting to me that sometimes the more efficient we get at something, the more skilled we get at something, it just gives us that urge or that drive to fill in the space where we would have taken longer to do something with more work. And that's good for some people. But if you think of it as a space for more work, then anytime you're more efficient, you're just rewarding yourself with more and more work, and your brain is already being inundated with either tasks, task lists, items, emails, news. It is constantly processing and over processing information to the point where everything is urgent and everything is important because it's all urgent and everything needs to be done right now. And it doesn't give your brain enough space to either process, feel grounded, or come up with a creative solution. So what we're seeing is more and more people are feeling anxious and feeling unfulfilled, not because they aren't doing more, they're doing more, but because they are not taking time to leave in that buffer or that white space around them. So what would happen if you found 15 to 20 more minutes of your day by creating an automation or a new process? And what would happen if you took those 20 minutes and you put an out of office, or you set up holy hours where people could not come in and disturb you at a certain time every day? And during that time, you didn't do more work, tasks, or more emails. You just thought about all of the work that you're doing. You thought through the processes that you're doing. You thought through the people that you're talking to and the relationships that you have with your coworkers or your clients. And you took that time to really center yourself and center the process. It took time to think through a problem and work through it without hearing the ding, 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 ding of either social media, news, emails, or phones. If you take that time, that extra time, and just process, I can guarantee that you are going to be more creative, you're going to be more fulfilled, and you're going to be more centered, less anxious. Something that you could try. The next thing that Whitespace does, so the first thing is it's for yourself. The next thing is it's for your message. If you leave a white space around an important piece of information instead of burying it in the middle of a paragraph, if you're writing an email, people are going to see it, it's going to be clear, and they're going to remember it. If you have a call to action on a web page, you want to set it apart, either putting white space around it or adding a little button, which is quite honestly just a block of space around an action that you want people to take. If you're creating a design, if there's something you want somebody to remember, in the middle of the page, the bottom or the top, you leave a little bit of white space all the way around so that people can see it, it can be clear, and they can understand and remember it. It makes your message more relevant to leave a white space around it. Otherwise, people might not even see it at all. And some people say, well, it's all important. Well, that's great. But if it's all important and your whole page is just a bunch of text, nobody's gonna see any of it. So if it's all important, none of it will be read. But if one thing, or at the most two things, are important, then you can leave that space around those two things. And people will see it and remember it. And the third thing is for your customer. This is the type of space I like to call the inviting space, the invitation. It is the space that welcomes people in. It is the space and pause in a conversation where you say something and then you leave a space and you wait, either for a response or for people to go, oh, that reminds me. And they start to have this interchange of ideas and sparks. This is where either the magic happens or the sale happens, or it's going to create that sense of belonging where your customer feels heard and understood, and that you actually care about what they have to say. When you create that white space for yourself, you're leaving a space for your mind to think things through. By creating that internal white space to either work through problems, listen to yourself, that is where it all starts. It's with that space that you are able to ground and center yourself, craft a space for clarity and understanding, and craft that space of invitation for people to respond and connect. And I hope that you start to craft and create more white space in your lives.